Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Motherwort. It is my favorite herb of the moment. I'm going to be showing you how I start out a Glycerite tincture, so stay tuned for that. And I also wanted to share with you my herbal journey and how I've come to this place, how I ended up deciding to get certified in herbalism and the path that it's taking me on. I just thought I would give you a little bit of backstory if you're new to me. I actually have an old YouTube channel where I kind of dabbled in different types of videography, and I've always been an artist. I probably denied that for a long time, but it's just where I'm really comfortable. I've been a photographer, been shooting photography since high school, and I went to college for photography. I've had successful photography businesses, and I love doing videography as well. And so my other YouTube channel was kind of an experiment with how I wanted to bring that aspect of my life to others, I guess. And it's fun. It's fun for me. I have kind of niched down into empowerment photography, which I am completely loving. It is the most fulfilling work ever. I love to help women just work through trauma or things that they've overcome in their life with the photography. And it's just a really, really powerful healing modality. I think not a lot of people talk about. And the photos end up being great for branding too, so that's a win-win. But I had a YouTube channel, and for a while it dabbled in like vegan living, and that just wasn't aligned with me. And then I started sharing business tutorials and business style videos because honestly, I just thought that that's what was going to bring me abundance. I was and am very knowledgeable in online business, and I'm good at lots of different social media platforms, and I just thought, well, why not use that and talk about that? But in reality, it really wasn't lighting me up. It didn't feel aligned. It was just kind of something I was doing, and I didn't do it for very long. We had kind of crazy things happen last year, and I just stepped away from everything that I was focusing on so that I could focus on my family and then just reevaluate how I wanted to show up in the world and evaluate what I was aligned with, I guess. It's really what it was about. I wanted to know spiritually that I was following my path, and I didn't feel like that. I felt like I was just pushing and pushing and pushing to get a business up and going, and it just never worked quite right or the way that I wanted, because I honestly just don't think it was aligned with who I am. And now I do feel like it's aligned, and I love making these videos, and I love doing the empowerment photography, and my life is totally immersed in herbalism right now. I recently got my certification to become an herbalist, and I am apprenticing at a local herb shop in Mesa that is so amazing. I feel so grateful to be able to have this experience, and I'm really feeling the call to help mothers in particular during the postpartum years, which essentially I could still be in the postpartum years even though my kids are older. But I really feel like in our culture and in society, support for the postpartum mom is lacking. Women who've just had babies have literally birthed spirit. They've literally brought spirit through their body into a human form and then delivered that human form. And our culture and our society kind of just shrugs that off like, meh. You know what? It's actually better if you can bounce back to your postpartum body. It's actually better if you could just jump right back in. Don't act weak. You don't need to help. You don't need help. You don't need to rely on anybody. We are told from a young age, like, this is what happens after you have a baby. You just bounce back and you just jump back into the life that you had before. And if you're a mother, you know this is the farthest from the truth. Your body shouldn't bounce right back. It should be cared for and cradled and loved and hugged and taken care of. And your health should be nurtured, and your emotional state should be nurtured. And you shouldn't have to worry about going back to work right away. And you shouldn't jump right back on your feet and take care of your kids like 2 days after you deliver a baby, which that's what happened to me. And so this calls to me because it's a tender area of my heart. I experienced a lot of trauma postpartum after having babies because I was left alone. My husband had to go back to work right away. My mother passed away 10 years ago, and I just didn't have family close or family that wanted to or could come and support me during that time, nor knew that I needed that. And I didn't know to ask for it. I think it's a thing that only mothers really know. You know that, you know, if you go over to somebody's house and bring a meal and water the plants and walk the dogs and take care of the other kids, like, how huge that is. But in our culture, it's just, this whole period is dismissed, and I've kind of had enough of that. So I want to support mothers in particular in the postpartum years, especially the weeks right after birth, with herbal support that they can drink, in the form of teas and tinctures, herbs like Motherwort that I'm going to talk about today, and then also things like nipple balm and perineum spray and, balms to massage the body that literally just birthed a human baby. Our body is so miraculous and so beautiful and so strong, and women for so long have just stuffed that part of us away. And right now we're all coming to the surface and working on our wombs, and we're doing so much healing that is needed. Women have been pushed down and oppressed and pushed aside for generations, and we've been feared, we've been killed, and we're coming back into our powerful force, and we're acknowledging how powerful we really are. And that's kind of where I'm at in this period of my life, where I want to empower women. And so I'm doing that with photography, and I'm doing that with herbs, and I couldn't be more excited. So let's talk about Motherwort. Motherwort is my favorite herb right now. I wish I would have known about this herb right after I had babies, but it even really serves me now. It's the mother's herb. It's also known as Leonurus cardiaca, which translates to lionheart. And if you're a mom, that's totally going to resonate. It's just an amazing herb. It helps with anxiety, it helps with PTSD, it helps with menstruation and PMS. It actually strengthens the nervous system while simultaneously calming it down. It is calming but not a sedative, so you can take it throughout the day and it's not going to make you tired, it's not going to give you brain fog, it's just going to kind of calm you down. And it's really great to give to your kids as well. If my kids are just kind of at each other's throat, they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I can just squeeze a little bit into their orange juice and they don't even know, and it's a lifesaver. I'm telling you, I wish I would have known about this herb like 20 years ago. It's an amazing herb, and for someone like me who did experience trauma right after my babies were born because I was so alone, it helps those moments when I actually have a little bit of PTSD. So in the early years, my husband was traveling a lot, and so anytime something similar happens, if my husband has to go out of town, all of the similar feelings start to come into play. The brain is a crazy thing. It kind of imprints as a protective force. Like, I'm gonna imprint this trauma on your brain so that you don't do it again. But the reality is it just kind of makes us live in perpetual anxiety if we don't deal with that trauma. Motherwort is really beautiful with that. It just kind of, it just calms you down. I can't say enough wonderful things about it. Do way more research on it if you're interested. I have not experienced that it's habit forming. I have read that, if you're depending on it to get through your day, it's probably time to reevaluate your life, but I feel like that would be the case with anything. And it's, of course, way less addictive than other types of herbs. So have at it. I really, really like it in a Glycerite tincture, which is what I'm going to show you how to start today. Tinctures take 4 to 6 weeks, so we're starting the Glycerite today, and then in 4 to 6 weeks I will make another video and show you how to finish up the tincture. But for this type of tincture, which I take sometimes multiple times a day, I like it in a Glycerite. It's just a little bit more palatable, a little more sweet. You could drink it in a tea, but I like the tincture because I want to take it with me everywhere. So I want to carry it in my purse, and if I've got a stressful moment in a grocery store, I can just pop, some tincture and kind of just chill out, and it gets me through my day. So I guess that's it. I think I've talked enough about how amazing it is. Let's dive into how to make a Glycerite tincture.
So to make a Glycerite tincture, you only need 4 things. You need a mason jar. The size can be of your choosing. I like to use 32-ounce wide mouth jars because wide mouth jars just make everything easier. And I like to make a little more product than I would use just for myself so that I can pass it along to my friends or I can sell it. You'll need herb of choice, which in this case is Motherwort, and you're going to need Glycerite, or pure vegetable glycerin is another name for it, and you're going to need clean water. You're either going to want to use distilled water or spring water, or I like to use our Berkey water. I don't use measurements when I'm making a glycerite tincture. I simply fill the jar halfway to 3/4 of the way full. Some people like to fill the jar completely, but I do notice some herbs like to kind of fluff up and absorb the water and glycerin more. So I want to make sure that all the herbs are going to get covered in the water glycerite menstruum. Once you have filled the jar with the herbs, you're going to do half and half glycerite and half water. Some people like to boil the water and put that in first. They say that it draws out a little bit more potency from the herbs, but this is totally optional. In this case, I like to make it as easy as possible for me. So I just fill a measuring cup with half water and half glycerin, and then I agitate it with a wooden chopstick. And that's it. You're done. You're now going to put a lid on it and you're going to label it with whatever herb it is and the start date of your tincture. It's also known as the birth date. Once you do that, you're going to stick it in a cool, dark place and you're going to leave it for 4 to 6 weeks. Every day you do want to go in and kind of agitate it and give it some love, infuse it with intention. In this case with Motherwort, I'm really going to infuse it with a very calming, peaceful energy. I'm going to visualize myself being calm and peaceful. In the future, I would love to do a video talking all about intention and how important it really is when you are creating concoctions and teas and spells. Intention is everything, and it's going to make your creations that much more potent and magical. I hope you've loved this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe while you're here so you don't miss my weekly videos. If you have any questions about herbs or there's one that you would like me to cover, please put it in the comments below. And I can't wait to see you all next week. Bye.